Hi, my name is Will Manusis, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my plan for replacing fossil-based electricity generation in the state of Virginia with solely wind and solar-powered energy. I chose Virginia as my area of interest because I am from there and have lived there my entire life. Virginia uses lots of fossil-based electricity, which is bad for the environment. Also, with a large city such as Washington, D.C. very close by to the Virginia area, making Virginia run on 100% renewable energy will also likely reduce the carbon emissions in D.C. Some fast facts about Virginia include that Virginia is run on 31% nuclear energy, which is 8th highest in the country. Virginia also has a population of 8.5 million, which is 12th highest in the U.S. This makes attempting to turn the entire state green into quite the challenge, because we need to build enough wind turbines and solar panels to power 8.5 million people's homes, workplaces, and etc. Supplying all of that would not be cheap, and it is a much greater challenge in Virginia than, say, a state like Rhode Island, which produces around 1/12 of the energy Virginia produces, and also has around 1/8 of the population. Virginia heavily relies on natural gas as its main source of electrical energy production, with 61% of all electricity coming from natural gases. Nuclear energy is also seeing a lot of use in the state, almost 9% more than the U.S. average. Virginia currently only runs on 7.2% renewable energy, which is 16.2% lower than the national average. This would cause another problem when trying to turn the state into 100% renewable energy. As Virginia is run on little renewable energy currently, there would likely be a major problem turning it completely green. However, due to Virginia using 30.2% nuclear energy, this problem is somewhat avoidable, as nuclear energy leaves no CO2 emissions and is thus considered renewable energy in this case. When looking at the argument between wind versus solar-powered energy, it is important to look at the outside factors that go into these sources of energy. For example, Virginia is ranked 40th in the country for peak sunlight hours at only 4.13 hours per day on average. This suggests that Virginia struggles when compared to other states at producing meaningful energy with solar power. Additionally, Virginia is ranked 24th in the country when it comes to wind speed. By looking at this data, I've concluded that it would be best to make our residential areas and smaller cities run off of small individual solar farms where the energy can be more concentrated on one small area, while the bigger and coastal cities can be run off of large industrial wind farms that have enough turbines to power large cities such as Richmond. The reason I wanted wind turbines for the coastal cities is because it is possible to construct large offshore wind turbines that can be used to power cities such as Virginia Beach. My wind turbine of choice is the Haliade X 12 megawatt turbine. This is one of the world's most powerful wind turbines, and I think it would be a great fit for powering Virginia. If we use the Haliade X to power the top 50 most populous cities in the state, that would allow for 42.7% of the Virginia population to be run on these turbines. This would require us to build 669 turbines in 23 different farms. Each farm takes up 1.17 square miles of space, and Virginia has 3,285 square miles of water, so we have more than enough space to make this happen. The payback period of 25 years is quite reasonable as well, because we will use the turbines for much longer than 25 years most likely. Also, if we were to build the turbines up little by little, instead of doing all of the turbines all at once, it would make the payback period even more reasonable. The Genesis Solar Energy Project is located in Blythe, California, and in my opinion has the right type of panels for powering the less populated areas of Virginia. A misleading statistic when comparing this to the Haliade X turbine is that this CSP can power up to 88,000 homes, while the Haliade X can power up to 16,000. The key difference is that one Haliade X turbine can power 16,000 homes, while one entire plant of these troughs can power 88,000 homes. A more accurate comparison when you compare the would be, would be to compare the entire wind farm against the concentrated solar power plant. And when you do that, you'll come to realize that the Haliade X farms can power up to 480,000 homes, which is much more than the 88,000 that the CSPs can offer. Each CSP would power around 1% of Virginia, and we would need 93 square miles of land area to build all of the necessary power plants. The payback period here is also very reasonable, even possibly more so than the wind turbines because we are powering more of Virginia with the CSPs, and it will take almost a decade less to pay it all back. These locations that I have chosen make a good fit for our turbines and solar power plants of choice. The land area for our concentrated power plant makes sense because it is vast and open, with not a lot of industrial area around it. For the wind turbines, the Chesapeake Bay makes sense because it is the largest body of water in the Virginia area, and also the Atlantic Ocean makes sense because it is very large. There are only a couple of lakes inside of Virginia that would make sense for building our wind turbines. The largest lake in the state is Buggs Lake, which covers 78 square miles of area, so we could potentially use that for building our turbines. However, it's located at the southern border of Virginia, so perhaps using some of the area would make sense, but likely not all of it. We could still use the Chesapeake Bay and Atlantic Ocean for some of our wind farms. All in all, this project is most definitely reasonable. The CSPs could maybe be used a little more if the wind turbines are becoming inefficient or too expensive, and with maybe some more time and thought put into this idea, we could fine-tune it to make it the most efficient it can be. One concern I have is the amount of wildlife we would harm by possibly tearing down forests to make room for these renewable energy sources. There is possibly some flat area without lots of forest that we could build the CSPs on, aside from the ones I have already listed. Also, this would create lots of job opportunities for the state, which would help the unemployment rate significantly. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening to my thoughts and presentation.